we'll just leave it right here for now, just in case. Now you can hear me a little better. By the way, welcome to all of you out there as well. This is Vinny, and he's an inexperienced trial lawyer who is trying to defend his nephew and the friend from a murder conviction or a murder trial. And, well, you just heard some of that. But before I get too far along, I don't think we've said it yet. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. It's good that all of you could be here. It looks like some of you have family, which is wonderful with you. You know, Mother's Day, I've talked about this in other years. It isn't just about mothers, it's about women in your lives. And so when I think of Mother's Day, obviously I think about my mom, I think about my grandma, all those sorts of things. But I also think about people like Anna Rista, who you don't know, but I do. Anna was the longtime Sunday school and superintendent at Morningside Lutheran in Sioux City, where I grew up. And she was there in front of us every single Sunday, telling us the story of Jesus. And she loved us, and she cared for us. So I think about Anna. And by the way, Anna was never married, never had any children. Her children were us. And I think about Marie Shattuck. Again, you don't know her. She was a grade school teacher. And you know, she always left an impression with me, but I had not seen her in years. Literally, the last time I'd seen her up to this one point, was the last day that I walked out of Joy Elementary School. And then it's my mom's funeral a couple years ago. And who shows up but Marie Shattuck? I was in tears. I couldn't believe it. There she was. And at first I didn't recognize her. I said, I know you, but who are you? And then she told me, and I just started bawling. I think about people like that. It's not just Mother's Day, it's Women's Day. And that's the way it was intended when Anna Jarvis first got things started back in the early 1900s. It was not intended to be just for moms. It was intended to be a celebration of women and the way that women change and move our lives. So that's a little bit of an aside. It has nothing to do with Joe Pesci and my cousin Vinny. But I'll come back to that a little bit later. For now, you know, what's happening here is what you think you know, you don't really know. And that's what's happening with this guy on the stand. He thinks that he saw those two boys go in, and 5 minutes later, and he heard a gunshot, and 5 minutes later they're running out, and they are the ones who did this terrible crime, killed this clerk in this convenience store. I'd like to get at this a little bit further so you understand maybe a little bit better of what I'm talking about. And to do that, I'd like to show you some photos. Would you show the first photo, please? I'd like to talk about parachuting, skydiving. And, you know, when I think of parachuting, this is what I think of, all right? I think of people coming out of an airplane, and it's this gentle ride down to the ground, and the sun is on their backs, warming their backs, and the parachute is swaying them back and forth. It's almost like a lullaby, and they come and they gently land into the field wherever it is that they're landing. That's my view of parachuting. And that's probably your view as well, right? Because for most of us, any skydivers here? Nope? Okay. So we're all talking the same language here. For most of us, our perspective, our view of skydiving is with our feet planted firmly on the ground and looking up several thousand feet to watch them. And even if it's skydiving where they don't release the parachute right away, you don't even see them on the ground. When you're on the ground, you don't even see them until the chute opens up. And then it's down they come, right? Well, it's a little different if you're up in the airplane. Would you show the next slide, please? Okay, now the first thing I notice about this airplane is that it has no door. And that is just wrong, okay? And yeah, the view is gorgeous, no doubt about it. And I knew that. I knew it would be gorgeous. I've looked out the windows of airplanes before, but they're not going to be behind a window. They're going to go out in it and be a part of it. and an airplane without a door. That's just wrong. And then you maybe notice when you're up there, you'll notice that the wind is whipping like crazy. It's sort of like driving down the highway with all your car windows open, except this wind is 150 miles per hour, okay? And it's cold up there. If you've ever been in an airplane, I don't know if you know this, but most private airplanes, one passenger, or not one passenger, but one engine airplane, they don't have an air conditioner. You know why? They don't need one. It's hot when you're on the ground, but as soon as you get off the ground, you just get the air from the outside, and it's cold, it's cool. They do have to have a heater in there. And sometimes when it's a bright, sunny, beautiful summer day. Okay? So it's cold up there. But you know, at this point, you're not thinking about the cold, okay? Because you are about to jump out into the fun and excitement of thin air. Next slide, please. Oh my. And of course, you're doing this, and yeah, there's a little bit of uncertainty. Is that how you describe that at first? But they tell me that once you get outside of the airplane, all of that uncertainty melts away into a very different kind of excitement. Next slide. I don't know if you can see his face or not, but he is terrified, okay? Absolutely terrified. And one more slide, please. You'll get a better picture here, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, there we go. And I want you to notice what's behind him. A perfectly good airplane, albeit it is an airplane without a door, but it sure looks a lot better than where he's going. And the airplane keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the earth beneath them keeps getting larger and larger and larger. Okay, folks, let me say it again. All of life is a matter of perspective. And what you think you know about this life, you don't know at all. With our feet firmly planted on the ground and safely where we are, our own little space that we're comfortable with, we look at others, we see others, we watch their actions, and sometimes we judge those people, right? When I was in high school, there was a girl in high school, my same age, we were in the same class. She was very pretty, and she was smart as a whip, top 5% of the class. She was in all kinds of extracurriculars. She was in cheerleading and sports and all those kinds of things. And you know, you look at her and all of that, and you would think she'd be very popular, but she wasn't. She was sort of standoffish. She pushed people away when they tried to make friends with her. And of course, guys, there was no getting anywhere close to a date with her. And so we all saw that, and we were standing in our little piece of ground looking up in the sky, and we all saw that, and we thought, well, she's stuck up. She's snooty. She's just a little better than the rest of us. Well, years later, some of us came to find out that she had an interesting home life. That her stepfather, someone who she deeply trusted at first, started sexually abusing her and abused her over and over and over again. So that abuse became a way of life for her. And that trust that she placed in him had become so violated, and literally physically violated, that when it came to trusting other relationships, she learned what that's all about. She didn't dare. Because to trust someone else and to be dumped on like that, to be misused like that, she had to protect that on the inside. So she pushed everybody away. See, what you think you know about the world around you, you don't know it all. I mean, you see somebody and maybe they're snarky, and you think you know what that means. Or maybe they're angry all the time, and you think that you know what that means. Or maybe they're immature, or maybe they're always sad, or maybe they're like crazy happy all the time. And you know, and you're attracted to them because they've got this smile on their face all the time. And you know what all of that means, right? Do you? Let's stop there.